Alright guys, let's understand what is an aspect ratio. So basically, we can say in simple terms that a box's shape and size, we can define it in the aspect ratio simply. So as you can see, our div here is a box. So by calculating its width and height to get an aspect ratio, we can get the aspect ratio. I go to Google and just search for aspect ratio in the images. I go and in order to give you an example and an idea of what is an aspect ratio. So with this image, I think we can see what it is. So as you can see in the first box, depending upon its width and height, we can, if we calculate, we can get its aspect ratio as 4:3. Similarly, for the second box, we have the aspect ratio is 3:2, and 1:1 is an aspect ratio for a perfectly square box. Similarly, this fourth box and fifth box, their aspect ratio can be like this. So let's close this window and now forward to. Uh, so we have a card like this. So let's say for if I like the shape of this card, uh, as we have styled it somewhat like this. If I decrease the window, we can see that its width is decreasing, which generally should happen. It should work that way responsively. Right, but as you can see, the height of it is fixed. So because of that, the shape is completely different now. For our ducks, that's something that we don't want it to be. So originally the shape of this box is like this. So how to maintain the shape for all the resolution if the resolution is bigger or smaller, it should be responsive, but also it should maintain the shape. So for in order to achieve this, basically we have a CSS property as aspect ratio. In this we can give the aspect ratio like this. Let's say 1:1, that is basically for a square. 4:3 is less of a rectangular shape. Then we have uh, let's say 16:9. So these are basically common basic aspect ratio values that we can give, but as you can see, the box that we want, it does not fit in these aspect ratio values. So in order to do that, what we can do is, if I hover over my card in the inspect tool, we can simply see the height and width of our card. So we are getting the value of 540 pixels and 303.75. That is the value of our card, its width and height. So that we can put in here as 540, and here it was 303.75. Now we save it. There you can see uh, it's applied, as you can see in the inspect tool here. Alright, and if I remove the minimum height that we have previously, because to see our card, because as there is no content in the card, so I've given it the min height. But now if we remove after giving the aspect ratio, we can still see that it has some height. So that is given by the aspect ratio basically to maintain its shape. And also if now as we decrease the window, you can see it's maintaining its shape, which is it's maintaining its aspect ratio basically. Alright, now in the larger resolution, basically we have taken our card in a container simply. So that is why it's limited to a width, as we have used max width for the container. That is why it's not increasing more than this. Generally we make it that way. Alright, but so this is the aspect ratio property basically. Uh, uh, this works even if we don't give it the width and height property. Alright, but uh, the problem with the aspect ratio is basically in some older browsers it does not work. So that it could be problematic to maintain the shape as we are doing for the card for this one. So for that you can do a CSS trick kind of you can say uh, in order to achieve the aspect ratio, to maintain the aspect ratio. So how to do that? Let's quickly see that. So we can do it using padding and we will give the padding top for the shape basically. So now as our height is basically 303.75, so we will gonna take that padding and as you can see I have removed the aspect ratio property. Now we have our div. But as we know that when we give pixel value it's fixed. So to make it in order to make it responsive we have to give it in the percentage. To have the exact value in percentage, what the way I will do it is basically I'll go to inspect to in the padding top we're going to take it 1% for now, and if I hover over my card you can see the width and height of it in the tooltip. So I'll gradually increase the padding till I get the value of 303.75. Alright, so it's not exactly 303, but I think that could work. We will take that and we will quickly take it here, and I'm going to replace pixel from percentage, and if we save the file as you can see here we have our div which is height is 302.99, which you can say is 303. But it was 7.5, but that is okay. I think you get the point how to get the height. So now I remove the aspect ratio completely from here and we have the padding. Now simply as you can see if I decrease the window size it will going to maintain the shape like the way it was working in the aspect ratio. Now one important point is that I have taken it inside a container. That is why basically its height is not increasing, but if I take it outside the container then what is going to happen is it and let's limit the width as we were doing, so 580 pixel of the card, but still if I as you can see if I increase the window the width is limited but the height is increasing, so that is something that could be problematic. So we can solve that by having our card in the container. If I remove the, so we are just giving the max width to container and the card is basically filled in the container basically. So that is how we can do a little bit padding trick here in order to achieve the aspect ratio, maintain the aspect ratio without the CSS aspect ratio. Now let's say if we have some content inside our card, then how are we going to handle that? Let's have the content and in the p tag I'm going to add some demo text. There we see our text. So what is happening is basically the upper space is all padding that we have given and the text is starting from below it. So to what we can do is we can simply overlap this text over the div, and div will be heighted with its padding. So to do that, we will give position relative to card, and inside the card we have taken content which will be going to give position absolute to overlap it. And we are going to give it with 100% and height 100%, so that the card fills up fully. Sorry, not the card but the content live inside the card. And as you can see, let's save it first. As you can see, there is text is not looking that good, so we can have some padding around the text so that it looks good. Okay, I think it's looking good. Now that's how we have our padding here. We decrease the window, where you can see it's maintaining the shape. We increase the window, its width is increasing till certain point, and also its height. So that's about the aspect ratio basically. We can handle that with CSS aspect ratio also, and we can do this padding trick, uh, the way we can also handle the aspect ratio and maintain the shape of our card or div image, whatever you say, whatever you take. Alright.